Hello, all. Welcome to the library. If you don't know who we are, which I'm very sad if you don't, uh, no worries. We are Alexandria RPG. We're a non-profit role-playing game library, and we share the history of role-playing games with people all throughout um, North America, going to events, sharing the books we've collected over the last number of years. We're somewhere close to 8,000 books now. We're slowly getting all that uh, cataloged so we can take all of it to more places. But today we're going to have a ton. Oh, I gotta reach way up here. This is all the stuff that we got from Gen Con. There's more stuff. And then I've got a cool story. Um, Man, it's just it's been a great couple weeks. So we got a short amount of news. I only picked a handful of Kickstarters and other stuff to chat about this week, but I definitely want to go over all the cool things that happened at Gen Con. It was a pretty awesome time this year. It was funny because I joke that I can't go to Gen Con without something crazy happening before the event starts. The first time we went to Gen Con, the library got shipped somewhere else. We now drive the library there. Last year ended up with COVID before the show really got underway. And then this year, if you've ever had a Charlie horse in your calf in the middle of the night, or if you've ever had a Charlie horse in your calf at all, you know how painful that can be. You just want to stretch it out. So we got the whole library, basically set up. We go get some rest, and we're gonna, wake up and hit the ground running the next morning. I get a massive Charlie horse at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to leap out of bed so I can stretch it out, and just as I'm getting out of bed, I get one of my other calf, and my wife was up. She was doing something else. She looks over, and I'm trying to figure out how to get my calves to work, but I can't get my feet to work because my calves are in knots. And I rock over as slow as possible and just slam on my knee and get skin my knee open on a wood floor, jam my thumb right into the ground, and there was a little carpet at the end of our bed at the Airbnb we were staying at. I just slam my head in the ground and get rug burn on my... So I had this big question mark rug burn on my forehead for most of Gen Con. We went to the... can't hear. Oh. It's just that heat will get me. Can't think. Heat will get me. Let me turn this fan. So... and then on the home front, my AC unit for my office just flipped out today, and I had it plugged into a little smart plug so I could turn it on and off, and it fried that smart plug. Like, literally, I was like, that smells like burning electronics, and fried that, and then I was like, oh, maybe it's maybe it was just that. Plugged it into another plug, and it tripped. I think I had it into a surge protector, and it tripped that surge protector. I was like, oh, damn it. So I now am surrounded by fans trying to keep a small pocket of cool when it's 90 something degrees out here. And in the Pacific Northwest, it's awesome because we get amazing humidity year round. So when it gets to 90 degrees, it's sticky and gross. One super cool thing, we've talked about this book a couple of times on stream. This is Vaesen. So someone, we still don't know who, donated this to the library. And we were at Emerald City Comic Con. We were not near the library at the time. We were talking to other people, and then we come back, and all the Vaesen products are set up in this nice little array. And whole new book with this cool leather cover was sitting on it. Well, somebody visited the library at Gen Con and it's a YouTuber, and I fail to remember the YouTuber's name. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can find it. That's why I'm running late today. The freaking air conditioning kept tripping all kinds of things. Yeah, Dave Thermator, who I'm going to link to his video in the chat. And you can see he in the video. It's kind of funny because he was like, "Oh, got down to the field, and because we were on the football field, and he got down to the field, and he was just like, oh, it was just so big." Then he finally kind of like, okay, I'll go down and check it out, and then stumbled onto the library and saw this, and then asked if this was for sale. He covers it all in his videos, so it's awesome. We now know where the cover came from. We can let Free League know, because they'd when I asked them, they were like, well, this is awesome. Where did you get it? I was like, what do you mean, where did we get it? So we found out where the one-of-a-kind awesome leather cover for Vason came from. It was a giveaway on his YouTube channel several years ago, and the person that won it gave it to the library, which I can't even begin to explain how awesome that is. Oh, I know I have some more stuff. Okay, we're going to get into a giant tower of book donations. So I'll start off with this giant. So it's a thick box from that is zine sized or digest sized, some people call it. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. This is Outcast Silver Raiders, OSR. And their website is OSR-RPG. And yes, it is. Their OSR is very specifically picked out for a reason. Oh man, this thing is heavy. It is dense. Okay, you get some standees. You get cards. You get some really bitchin' art. Hang on a sec, I gotta bring my camera up so I can view it properly. That way I'm not staring at the delayed shot. So yeah, there's some really nice art on these. I think these are really sharp looking. Look at this giant. I think that's really good looking. This is some really cool art. Talking to the guys that put this together, they had a very specific focus when they were moving forward with it. And talking to them, so their focus is really, I think they nailed the art for what they were going for. Okay, so a really nice little compact GM screen. So, get the art on one side, which really nice looking, and basic info for the GM on the other. Let's see, and it looks like we're going to add. Are we back already? Wow, that was a quick ad. Okay, well, it's like, hey, you're going to an ad break. And then, so nice little short player's handbook. They say character creation is really short and sweet, and their one page is like front and back. So basically, their character sheet is a half page front and back, or a full one page, and it's super duper simple. And they said, yeah, you said. They were contemplating making and these are all hardback books too. So, and they said they were contemplating doing non-hardback in the player's guide and do more. But then after, they kind of sat down, they said, once you get going with the game, or once you get going in character creation, it goes so fast that they were like, it's not necessary. Okay, I had a little warning saying, hey, you got ad break coming up, and then now it's popped back up. Like, okay, make up your mind. Looks like we have an ad break. I will pause for ad break. So if you're watching this in the future, okay, those warnings are super silly because it keeps coming up on. I have it so I can see what you guys see, and it came up with like half second, and it was like, oh, ad, go away. Okay, so the reference compendium, so your GM's guide, and it's considerably thicker than the player's handbook. Then you've got, this is the Mythic North. So this is their world, their campaign, everything, and this is really nice little. It has little gilded edges, but then you can also see their reference numbers are still noticeable on the side. So if you tilt it just right, you can see the gilding, but you can also see the reference, quick reference info. And their big thing was, here's all of the maps that you need to run their campaign, which I really dig. So this is like kind of a semi one-shot. There's a bunch of generic monsters and stuff on this one. And then there's just tons and tons of little maps that you can pull out. So they said their idea with this was you have a lot of little maps instead of one big map, so you don't have to cover them up, and it's easier to pass around, let players look over the maps and take notes about them. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I could see where you guys were going with that. I actually kind of agree. How they've laid out their game, the ton of little maps is a pretty solid idea. Oh, come here, chair. You are going to be where I put more stuff. Oh. Okay, this came in from the Kickstarters. So this one we kickstarted a while ago. Gods of Metal Ragnarok. Ponied up for the cool limited cover. The hardcore rulebook. So I think I don't know I can't remember what system they ended up going with, but this is put out by so they hooked up with Hunters Entertainment and Renegade. So I don't know if this uses Renegade's Essence system. I don't remember from. I will have to tear into this. This came right after we got back from GenCon. What's going on, buddy? I'm not going to feed you. It's wild till feeding time. So there was a CD of music. Resodrone. I'm not going to toss that in the chair. There are guitar pick markers. I wanted to make an exotic curiosities from faraway lands display out of the GenCon books. Make a display of all the GenCon books at Dragonflight. So, for those of you who don't know, we got Dragonflight coming up, and then shortly after that is PAX West. So, these are actual, real, could be used as guitar picks. They're really solid, really nice. So when they make, guitar picks aren't horribly expensive to make, but they could have gone with super cheap ones. These are not. These are actually really nice guitar picks. Take it from a very bad bass player. Come on, zoom in. Then they had guitar pick pins. So these aren't guitar picks. These are pins of all the different factions and the logo of the game, which was kind of a cool idea. Nunzio wants to say hi. Say hello there, Nunzio. Roar. 20 pounds of not paying attention to me. He's still mad at me for being gone for, 10 days for GenCon. I'm going to put books right where you're standing. And it makes it really hard to do that. There's a nice, really well-made portable dice tray. You know how these work. If you've been around gaming at all in the last 10 years, these popped up pretty hard about a decade ago. And they've been going, and I think people really have the style of these down now, and they're really well made. And this nice felty inside. What's going on, buddy? And then these dice, these are beefy, the beefiest D4s like ever. These things are crazy. It's got the little Ragnarok logo, and they're heavy. There's 6 of them in here, and it is like noticeable weight. Yeah, this is a really impressive Kickstarter. Like when they went all out, they were like, okay, we're gonna do some really cool stuff. And then let's try this again. Gods of Metal Ragnarok album. So open it up. The trifold art is awesome. But so here's your interior. This is your your GM screen, and there's an album in it. Oh no. Hang on. What, buddy? Okay. See. Pretty sure Ivan Van Norman that we met. Oh, I don't know. He might have been. So, and then there's 2 freaking records in the GM screen. I now need to get a record player so I can listen to the metal on there. Let's see if we can quickly see if Ivan Van Norman's name is in the front of this book. What? Game designed by Ivan Van Norman, created by Ivan Van Norman. Oh. I love it when we meet people and don't know that. I guess the record is the record cover a GM screen. Yes, it appears to be, and honestly, it's a little too big for a GM screen. But the inside is shit to know in Ragnarok, combat, enemy actions, feedback abilities, performance pools. So it is a GM screen on the inside. And yes, if I was running this, I would absolutely pull this out and use it as a GM screen. Because, why not? Let's see. Our friends over at 9th Level Games, they finished their Kickstarter. Pigeons 11. Bee-Birds Do Crime. So it is a fun little pigeon-based RPG using their polymorph system. I love these little... They don't call them one-shots, they call them fun shots. It's really... they're really cool because they can be a one-shot, but they can go a little longer as well. Included was... They included their free RPG of the day, or free RPG day stuff. So this is Maze's Zero Prep Introduction to Fantasy Roleplay, and it's like a tear-off sheet, but it is literally everything you need to know how to play mazes. They're solid. It's a small fantasy RPG setting. It's not like a zine or anything. It's just rules light that can go a long ways. And then we got the free RPG day level 1. So this is the 4th year they've been doing this. So every year for Free RPG Day, for the now 4 years in a row, they've been putting these together. And there's content for all kinds of different games. There's little, mini games and stuff in here. And then they reach out to different, different advertisements from different companies. It's funny because they're reaching out to their competitors in the industry to advertise in this. And then even they hooked us up with a little half page in here, which is, awesome. We love the people over at Ninth Level Games. This is their 2023 level 1. These went out on Free RPG Day. Some of your local stores may still have these. Yes, all the polymorph stuff is super easy to learn, and it is a really cool little system. Let's see. Atema, Atma, I think it might be Atma. So they hooked us up with a couple copies of their first, Act 1. And this is a really cool RPG because you're like, oh, look, RPG book. They went another route. They said, oh, look, RPG card game. So this is, the cool thing with this is Act 2. So it is standalone or playable with Act 1. And the handful of people we've gotten to play it are like, it's really cool. They really dig it. And I want to get people playing it at events that we go to because it's just a different way to look at how an RPG can be put together. Because we're so used to books and dice. I mean, they still have dice, but they have gone completely with cards. And they gave us they gave us 2 copies of their Act 2 because we have 2 copies of their Act 1, and then all the stuff for they give us all the event cards that they got or that they put together for going to events, which is really cool. You are such a pain in the butt, giant cat. I really want to start putting books right where you're at, but I'll wait. I'll put them somewhere else. It's okay. You're a cat. You do what you do. Okay. 7 Wonders is from Pellegrin. He really just flopped on top of the books. And like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So 7 Wonders. This is a story games anthology. So there are 7 different story games in here. And so this is Rise and Fall by Elizabeth Lovegrove, and it's just there. So if you pick this up, you'll get 7 story RPGs out of this, which is kind of cool. It's When Dark Is Gone, Rise and Fall, Heroes of the Hearth, Acceptable Losses, Small Things, Nemesis 382. Somebody's got 382 Nemesis. And Before the Storm. So they got a variety of game developers together and put together a nice little book of what would have been games that were a little too big for zines, but also kind of tough to market as a one-off. We got. Is this new? I don't know. I don't think this was new. I think this got mixed in. Well, Scorched. I don't know if I've talked about this before. I think this just got mixed in with the new stuff. I didn't see, some people drop things off. What's going on out there? Hello? Who's making weird hissing noises?
Probably the cats.
No, are you opening something?
I'm making rice.
Oh, okay. So, sounded like somebody was making like weird hissy noises behind you, but the wife is prepping rice for food when I'm done here. Yay! I like rice. It's good for us. Okay. Scorched. Don't know much about this game. Eric Bloat and Josh Palmer. I will have to look into this for you. I don't know much. My apologies. Let's see. Oh, we got these just before GenCon. So, our friends over. Hello. What are you doing down here? Oh, now I've got 2 cats at my feet. They made these comic book character sheets because their RPG is based off the comic that they've been developing for the last few years, which is it's this cool cyberpunk-esque world. So it's got cyberpunk notes in it, it's got magic in it, and it's all 5e-esque based. Well, so they made some. If you make a donation to the library, you can get one of these 5e character record books. So it's the same size as a comic, and you'll be able to make a cash donation at an event we're at. We only have a handful of these. I'm going to reach out to some artists and get them to do some cover art if anyone's interested in that for a higher donation. And if you just want a plain one and do your own art, but then you open it up and it's your character sheet for 5e, which is kind of cool. I very much dig it. What's next? Let's see. Guide to Naval Combat for 5th edition, compatible with 5th edition. So our friends over at makers of Pirate Borg. Thank you. Jeez, brain. This is This is naval combat rules that you can run in Pirate Borg, or you can use in 5e. And there's all kinds of ship information, everything already in the inside. Super duper cool. Oh, I'm gonna run out of. Let's see, Dungeon Crawl Classics Frozen in Time. Somebody donated this module to us this weekend. I think this one got donated because it got dog-eared, which I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna go tinker around the library. Let's see, Intrigue in the Court of Chaos. Somebody, had dog-eared this corner, so I always loved Dungeon Crawl Classics doing a great job of making fun of old comic book advertisements. The Count Dante Dimmuck Touch of Death. Let's see. And then need to get some more of these in. The Dungeon Crawl Classics. This is the quick start guide for DCC. So this will get you up and running either 0 level or 1st level. And it really makes the start of Dungeon Crawl Classics far less intimidating. Portability makes Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Probably better than Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Ghosts of Saltmarsh doesn't ring a bell right offhand. Let's see. Our friends over at Artel Sorian, who have been a huge help to the library and want to help out more. This is their newest book they just released at GenCon. Danger Gal Dossier. Great little add-on. If you like, I don't know how. Well, I know how people don't like cyberpunk. It is definitely not a thing for everyone, but this is just a ton of awesome NPCs, the different gangs they're in. And then some more info. There's ships, new gear, tons of NPC. Okay. Ship count. Yes. Okay. Now I remember. Yes. Saltmarsh. Yeah. Most anything would be better than any of the vehicle combat that D&D has released in the last couple years, because I was so excited for Spelljammer until I read it and was like, oh, they missed so many little things in that. The Saltmarsh one probably went totally over my head, because I think I looked at that and was like, ugh. Looked through it and just was very disappointed in how it was blown through. Let's see. Modifius. So this is their new system, Dreams and Machines. I talked about it being released in upcoming release. Last news before we went to GenCon, and it's nice we have it in hand already. So, the tutorial book, the adventure book, the rules reference. So this is a 2D20 based system, so if you've already played any of the new Modifia stuff, you'll know it. There are tokens, little punch out tokens and stuff. A very basic map. All kinds of fun little notes and everything. These are little hints and guides to hand out to players. This is kind of cool because you can put your character sheet in this envelope, put your name on it and the character's name on it, and then you put them in there, and then it goes into the box. So the GM knows who gets what without anybody seeing your stuff. Some dice and a bunch of cards, which I don't know how they pertain to this particular game. But I'm excited to look through it because I think the world that they've created for Dreams and Machines is really interesting, because the giant mechs that were used to take over, and Dreams and Machines not fantasy battle tech. So the machines, if you can see in the background, it's all covered in moss and everything. So the machines were used to take over their world and kind of left them in a semi-post-apocalyptic setting. Now, most of the machines sit motionless, rotting away over these cities and the like. So everybody has been discovering, how to make guns and everything again, but you do have magic that is in the world. So you have some magic users, you have some guns in the world, and some of the machines are coming back online. So not only do you fight against each other, but you can end up fighting against the machines as well. Kind of a little like Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's see. Our friends over at AAW Games, here just up the road from us, they donated a while back the really awesome Drow book they made, and really dig it. So they gave us a bunch of their other stuff. And in fact, one of the guy that runs it wants to come and just run some of his 5e stuff at PAX with us to just add additional content to the library. So this is the box set, Rultmork. I know he said it, and I probably totally butchered it. So, ooh. Nice dice and token sets, so already at value. Oh wow, look at the inside. Inside of the box. This is inside the lid. You can see there were heavy things stacked a ton. You can see where the D4s were. Or D8s. Let's see. So you get hardcover core book. Go back in there. Let's see. Lots of description. These are description of items and little scenery on the back. So the cool thing with this, I was looking through, there's a lot of little things that you can pull out and share. And it's like, okay, you see a mural that looks like this. That way you don't. It's nice when they get really descriptive with stuff. So this is what the big baddie looks like. You can show them what the big baddie looks like without trying to trip over your ability to describe stuff. but there's tons of art that you get in here that's front and back that is very pertinent to the setting that you can share. The character sheets are actually really well done as well. So the neat one with this, all the pre-mades, you're all priests. So you are priests of a particular god that's basically going to try to take out this lich. And then a bunch of awesome cutouts, standees. So I like the skeletons. It's a bunch of really cool stuff. So I'll be talking to him tomorrow to see if we can work out when he can come run some games. And I have some more books from them, but they're further down the stack, so I'll say when I'm back to them. Let's see. Oh, and what's the price on that? I've been really bad about it. Okay, so this whole thing is 5e compatible, and it's $130 for the whole box set. So all the standees, all the additional stuff, and the book. Let's see. This one, the person that gave us this, he was an attendee. He was a game designer, and no, that's not going to be an interview tomorrow. I'm just chatting with him on the phone about coordinating things. I do not have an interview lined up for tomorrow. I've been so busy trying to speak with companies about trying to help the library that I haven't been very good at getting guests to chat with. So this is Fearsome Wilderness, and I will be actually chatting with this guy soon-ish. Come on, not the Great Maw, the book. There we go. So this is uses the Free League Year Zero engine, which I like. That they have their own. They don't have an OGL, or they're not using Orc. They're using their own system for their Year Zero, and this is really neat. So it's not just a standard fantasy game. It is a survival game. And as I was looking through, so you're marooned on an overgrown planet choked with forest and wildlife. You're forced to hack out your existence by the sharpness of your axe. Creatures lurk just outside the edges of your perception. Creatures of legend and folklore, their shapes dart between the darkened trees. You can't help but tremble as their unwholesome howls fill the night. So it is a survival game. Free League is definitely on the ball. Yeah, the cover of this is pretty cool. I like that it's a survival game versus yet another. It's cool because like the beginning talks about some of these people that there's a guy that YouTube blew up about him a while back, but he retired, had all his money that he can, and just moved to middle of nowhere Alaska and built like that for quite some time, and then people have gone in and documented how he survived, and just with the only people that did with that to build out an interesting wow, okay. Let me You have me back. Now, well, man. Can you hear me? out of nowhere, I have just gone unstable. Okay, well, I'm going to continue on. Don't know why I've gone unstable. It's bonkers. Close most everything down that I could. Let's see. So from Pellegrin Press, we got Knights Black Agents, the solo ops. Don't know much about this from Pellegrin. Same company that puts out 13th Age, if I recall correctly. Then from them as well, we got Knights Black Agents, the Dracula dossier. So need to really look into what the Knights Black Agency is. And then this is also from Pellegrin. This uses the Gumshoe system, Mutant City Blues. Ever since the sudden mutation event, people have been able to fly, phase through walls, read minds, shoot bolts of energy from their fingertips, and walk into dreams. Okay, the last one sounds interesting. And you're just playing in a world full of mutants. Okay. Then this was donated. Somebody actually won this as a prize, and then donated this to us. Modern Age Basic Rulebook. He was like, I don't play role-playing games. You guys can have it, which is very nice of them. Because I don't think we had this. We've got some stuff from Modern Age, but I don't think we actually had the core rulebook. Let's see. Ashen Stars. This is also from Pellegrin Press. It was. They call you lasers, regulators, or out in the Scalia outzone, shine stars. To the lawless denizens of the bleed, whether they be pirates, gangsters, or tyrants, you're known in less flattering terms. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff here. So, more stuff. This is a sci-fi from Pellegrin Press. Then this, I really want to talk to people that designed this. So, Necrobiotic. When you die, your body becomes property of the state. And then they start putting cybernetic implants on you. And you can play in the world as a normal human, knowing that when you die, you're going to become a reanimated corpse. And that's how they run all of the equipment in their world. And it's really neat. There is evidence in the world that the reanimated corpses have memories and stuff. There's all kinds of there's some really cool ideas going on in here, and their limited run cover really gorgeous. From Cubicle 7, they gave us last event I was with, they ran out of their Doctor Who core rulebook. This is 5e based, and I really want to go through it. I dig Doctor Who, even most of the really badly written stuff. Right now I kind of want Doctor Who to take a break. They brought David Tennant back. I'm like, don't bring old doctors back, just take a break for a while. But Cubicle 7 also, they make all the Warhammer RPG stuff now, and they gave us a couple of their fantasy roleplay starter box sets, which is awesome. I really want to dig into this. The Warhammer fantasy world is super dark and really cool. Let's see. This is, I think, it's a little over $50 for this box set. And you get nice, really cool looking D10s. If the camera will focus on those. It doesn't like them. Oh yeah, this one had, so you open it up, read this first. And it really tells you the basics of what playing an RPG are. And then here's your pre-made character sheets. A little bit information about Saldura von Drakenberg, and then art of that character. And then there's your character sheet. That is super duper cool. I like that a lot. That is a really awesome character sheet. So all of the character sheets are done that way. Art on the back of the different characters. Here's your little halfling. And little bit on the front about him, and then bam, opens up into the 2-page character sheet. So there's your adventure book, the guide to Uberschreik, little tokens that go with the game, and some maps, because it wouldn't be Warhammer without maps, and then little handouts for rumors. So rumors you have heard, and so the rumors that are in the setting you have access to hand out. Yeah, I really like. There's a bunch of little things about this that I am super duper happy with. Those character sheets are super cool. I like them a lot. Oh, let's see. Back to AA Games. Here's their Rule to Mark core rulebook. This is neat because like there's actually like the letters are raised up. Like there's like you can feel the cover. It's super neat. I really dig this. Also from AAW, their Survivalist Guide to Spelunking, and they signed it. So this is really how to develop a good underground world in 5e. And honestly, you can use it to develop an underground world in anything. Let's see, they're Drider of the Underworld. Meh, it can't find me. Oh, it's out of focus. Okay, find me. Normally don't use autofocus for a reason. Drider of the Underworld. Little 5th edition expansion to their... Oh, geez, why are you going bonkers? Okay, fine. No more autofocus. I will just have to... let's see, their mini dungeon tome. So this is a lot of good information on building out. I mean, it's just a ton of bits and pieces for dungeons, and you can use those to really build everything out. And a lot of really cool GM-based information. Next one is a game that I was really excited to see when I ran into. So the game is called War Stories. And this is the GM screen. So this is a World War II based RPG, and it is literally that. You are a soldier in World War II. It's not a weird war. It's not an alternate history. This is like they sat down with historians and veterans and put together so War Stories, a World War II RPG, and it uses the Year Zero engine. It's from Firelock Games. They've got a bunch of other non-RPG stuff, and this is their RPG that they've put out. I really want to go through this. I think this is going to be great for. There's some veterans out there that I think that'll be awesome for. And then this is Rendezvous with Destiny campaign book. So June 5th, 1944. The war is about to get real for you. Lace up your jump boots, tighten your parachute, check your reserves, strap on the leg bag, and don't forget your M1. Help your buddies climber into the Dakota and take your place in your stick. Nazi Germany thought they would sweep their enemies aside in the all-conquering blitzkrieg, but they weren't ready for the resolve of the Allies. They weren't ready for the dedication of the 101st Airborne. They weren't ready for the courage of the Screaming Eagles. They weren't ready for you. And one of my many combat patches from Afghanistan and Iraq, well, from Afghanistan specifically, is I have a 101st patch. So I have a handful of combat patches that I'm authorized, that I earned. I have an 82nd, 101st. I have Special Operations one. I have U.S. Forces Afghanistan. And one of the things that I wear semi-regularly is my 101st patch. Really proud of that one. See, kind of been thinking about doing a Tom Clancy type game. Wonder if the gunplay is good. I will be tearing through this to see how it goes. It is based on Year Zero, so if you've played other Year Zero stuff, it should be okay. The gunplay works out well in Alien, or in Aliens, so it uses the same system. Okay. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Titan Robotics. We got our cool limited cover in, and got to chat with Kevin Symbieta, and gave us a non-cool cover. Well, actually, this is actually a real cool cover too, of Titan Robotics. So this will go into the library as well. And I really need to get my button gear and start playing riffs in events again. Okay, new Vampire Masquerade Player's Guide. So they stripped out all the stuff that out of the main book that players didn't need, and boiled it down to what the players need. So you get a nice big thick core rulebook for your GM, and you can pick up a couple of these so that your players aren't delving into all the stuff they don't need to know about. Really good. I like it when companies do stuff like this. Like, hey, you don't need this whole book. You only need this book. It's far less intimidating too. And then brand new from Renegade, Werewolf. I always wanted to play this in the 90s, but apparently the werewolves back in the day were overpowered and nobody wanted to let you play werewolves unless you were playing an all werewolf game. So I never got to play. So I'm going to go through this and I'm going to see how good this is, and hopefully I get to play werewolf someday. Monty Cook is great about making slim players guides. So I'm going to put this out to anybody making games. If you have the ability to make a slimmed down player's guide to introduce to give to new players or just players in general, it is such a good thing when you as a GM are sitting down, especially with new players, because a big book can be super intimidating, but you sit down and they see you have the big book and you hand them something way smaller and geared towards them, it makes things go way better. See, most everything from here on out will be from Renegade Games. The new My Little Pony. This is thick. This is really thick. I gotta. Oh, this uses their essence system. So the My Little Pony that was previously put out by River Horse Games was definitely put out for a younger crowd. But the funny thing is, the young crowd is not really into, they kind of missed the mark for doing a game for younger players in My Little Pony. This is 14 plus. So this uses the Essence system, so technically it's compatible with G.I. Joe and... What? Don't yell at me. You're the one that's sitting over there. Anyways, My Little Pony, technically, I guess, being an Essence system, is now... yeah. In the chat, they said, here's a phone book, memorize it by Friday. Very true how some games are. Like Dungeon Crawl Classic, it's a big, thick book, but the player doesn't need that to start the game. So that little tiny little thing that DCC puts out for the Quick Start Guide, that's great to get players up and running. Anyways, My Little Pony has actually a much older audience than people think, including Hasbro. Hasbro still thinks that it's little kids watching. No, it's guys in their men and women in their 20s and 30s, and even getting into their 40s now. So this is probably the perfect game for them to play now. Weirdly hope that it gets big. The Field Guide to Action and Adventure. This is the crossover sourcebook for G.I. Joe Power Rangers and Transformers. So if you want to combine any 2 or 3 of these, this is your book. This tells you how to balance them out. You want to play G.I. Joe and Transformers like you see here on the cover? There's a Joe on the shoulder of the Power Zoid fighting the Decepticons that all merge together, the Constructicons. Wow. Going with some old school memories there. Let's see, we got Power Rangers, A Jump Through Time. So, new source book for Power Rangers. The Phantom Gambit Adventure for Power Rangers, much smaller. Balance books are very rare, yes. So when Renegade announced that they were going to be doing this, I was like, okay. I mean, they all technically use the same system. They're technically compatible, but this actually does a really good job of going, hey, here's what you really need. My Little Pony GM screen. So if you want to see the art for the ponies, lots of ponies. This is a fairly large GM screen, and usually there's just a little piece of paper on the back with just notes and the scan code, but it actually has a progress chart. It actually has something for the game on it, and the in a jam little core or little expansion game. Let's see, G.I. Joe. So they were totally out of the Transformer GM screen, so didn't get one of those, but really love the art. What did I do? G.I. Joe. Woo! Look at it. So let's see. Duke, Snake Eyes, Roadblock, Gun Ho, Scarlet. Don't know what these particular troopers were called. Baroness, Destro, Cobra Commander. Let's see. We got some Trouble Bubbles over here. The Cobra Rattlers. Or no, this was the Rattler. And then they're the Nightwing with drone. I can't remember maybe it was Nighthawk. And then I forget the little copter's name. Then this is the can't remember the name of this, but it came with Wild Bill. And then you have the Strikers, the F-14 Tomcats. Let's see what else. But a lot of cool stuff. Super duper excited for G.I. Joe stuff. See, finally I can do My Little Pony Mork Board Campaign. Yes, you can do My Little Pony Mork Board Campaign. See, the Power Rangers Across the Stars source book. So if you are into more of, I think this is all the time-based Rangers. Oh, then we got the Sergeant Slaughter limited edition accessory pack. So you get a little Sergeant Slaughter. I got to meet him last year. Still a nice guy. Got a good picture of him giving two U.S. Army soldiers headlocks. And then you got Marauders versus the Slaughter Monster, and just tons of information about the different equipment you're going to use, like the Rattler. There's the Slaughter Monster, and then some of your new characters. Ooh, old character, Barbecue. He's from Boston. Footloose, he was a recon soldier. Lowlight, Sniper. Mutt and Junkyard. Yeah. Spirit and what's the Eagle's name? Oh man, I can't remember the Eagle's name. I feel bad now. And Sergeant Slaughter. Let's see. Here's your source book. You got your Warthog. Let's see. The Triple T. I remember this. This was Sergeant Slaughter's vehicle. You got the Equalizer. That thing was super cool. That was an awesome toy. The Lynx was not so awesome. It was kind of boring. Yes, I loved G.I. Joe growing up a lot. You got punch-outs of like the Triple T, the Marauder, the Lynx. Then, let's see. There's Footloose, Low Light, Barbecue, some of the new guys, Mutt, Junkyard, Lieutenant Falcon, Spirit, and for the love of all that's holy, I cannot remember the Eagle's name. Little map to put together. Warning, live fire course. So, bunch of cool new stuff for G.I. Joe, and brought Sergeant Slaughter into the game. Freedom! Oh, thank you. Wow, why could I not remember Freedom? I feel bad that I couldn't remember Freedom. That poor little bird's feet on the figure, just because it just snapped onto his arm, and the little clip would, his feet would break constantly. It was like, oh. Let's see. Transformer, the time is now. So a source book for Transformers. And then the Decepticon source book for Transformers. So you can make Decepticons or play as Decepticons now. Yes. Decepticons had some of the coolest characters. So also from Renegade Games and WizKids. Wardlings, 5e campaign guide. You are young adventurers, and that is the most I really know about it. I have not gone through this too much yet. And then the last two new books before we go on to everything else. Let's see. G.I. Joe Operation Cold Iron. So playing as Joe's in episodic thing. And then G.I. Joe Cobra Codex. So you can create your own Cobra stuff, or you can play as Cobra now. Oh, yes, you can play as Cobra. I was much more of a Joe guy, but man, there were times I was totally in the mood to play Cobras. Were winning, because Cobra had to win sometimes to be able to get to being the uber baddies that needed to be taken care of. Yes, so that was the last of everything from GenCon. And some of those we were given duplicates of, like the Atem, the Warhammer starter set. So we got duplicates of those. So it isn't just one in the library. We can bring stuff out and let multiple people try out some of these cool new stuff. Okay, let's get to. Let's get dangerous. I'm not a very good Darkwing Duck. And okay. So I just brought this up. I just want to briefly touch on it because most of the stuff that WotC has been putting out has not been really great. Like, oh look, hey, you've got Dragonlance, you've got Spelljammers, and they've all felt as one-offs. And they're like, oh, no, we have a bunch of... So during an interview, they were like, no, they're not one-shots. We're going to do more stuff for them. So I hope they do, because I don't want Dragonlance to be a one-off product. Dragonlance is a big, amazing world, and I want to play in it someday. Eberron was the first thing, was the first big setting created by WotC in third edition. And I would love to see that come back more as than just one book. People have been playing the daylights out of Ravenloft, and they want more for it. They really do, and I don't blame them. I mean, who wouldn't want more Ravenloft stuff? There's some great stuff in there. Let's see. Hang on a sec. Cat's making stupid noises outside. I'll be right back. Okay. Young cat trying to get itself murdered by jumping older cat. Bright idea. You weigh 4.5 pounds. The cat you're attacking weighs 20 pounds. And not having it.